Hello guys, it's Paula, and I am back bright and early on Wednesday morning, May 1st. Yes, it's early. I didn't sleep well last night, but what else is new? So enough of that. So you are looking at the winner of the cover of the book. Now, I did make one change. I found this fabric in my stash. Believe it or not, I didn't have any just solid black, but I laid some solid black down, and it was just so drab. So I found this blue. Has a little bit of mauve every now and then, but it's real faint. And it made me think of the body of the butterfly. So I'm going to show you, this is going to be the inside spine here. I could have done it this way, but I just thought it looked better this way. I tried it both ways, you know. There you can see a little bit of the mauve. It's mostly navy and black. So this is black, and then, well, it's not really navy. It's closer to, I don't know, royal, I guess. I don't know what kind of blue it is. It's blue. Okay, and just a reminder, this is the front of the book. This is the size of the book. The book is going to end up being 9.5 by 6 3/4. So that's a good size book. And this is going to be the inside page. I'll lay it on there too so you can kind of see. I thought it looked, I didn't like the way this looked for the front. I had to line it up and get in what I liked the best. The butterfly up here wouldn't fit, and also fit with this one that says Flutter. And then I just got part of the Flutter, but I liked, this was my favorite. I know it's not a floral book, but if we don't have the flowers, you know, the butterflies would not be happy. Okay, so this is what we're going to end up with. I already cut the paper early. So this is all cut and ready to go on the book, but I just wanted to show you how stunning it looked. I like it. Give me your opinion. Let me know if you like how it turned out. I tried to lay it all down here nice and neat for you to see. So what will happen is the spine will be put on and on the book, just like that. And this, see how it comes up over the book, and then this will be put down over the spine. And the inside spine cover will also be this same blue. Okay, so I'm going to move this aside. I'm real excited about this book because it's unusual and different. We are going to just kind of cut some things and put into the book. I thought that would be fun. Let me get my slicer out here. Okay. And I'm going to show you what I've done so far and how each signature, I'm going to do 2 signatures and see how it does. If 2 signatures make it too bulky, I'll break it down to 3. But this is all the paper I have for the book, so I'd have to put filler paper in. I really want to stick with this one paper. So I'm going to move this right up here and try to get in camera as best I can. Got my drink. Everything's good. Okay. So signature 1 starts with this pretty paper, which was number 3, if you recall. I thought it would make a statement. And, you know, whenever they open the book, whenever the book is opened, it's going to look like this, you know. So I thought this looked good up against this, for this is being the inside of the book. Okay, so page 1. I try to coordinate the page, you know, back and forth to make them look good side by side, although these will not be side by side. You know how that works. But anyway, and then this red floral. It's got some fireflies in it, and it's got some different bugs in there. Okay, and then you got this red on this side that says bloom and grow, which I don't know why they decided to call it bloom and grow when it's, you know, put a lot of bloom and grow in the book, because the kit is called Flutter. So, I don't know. Good question, right? So here we have this beautiful blue with this blue butterfly. I am just absolutely loving this collection. So I'm going to do something probably a little different as I go along. I don't want to say until I can tell you. But here's some bees over here. They got into the picture, but that's okay because they're really cute. And they are throughout the book here. It was on the back of the page. I couldn't say no, right? And here's a red blossom, a red page. Now, sometimes the best side of the paper doesn't end up on the front side of the book, and that's happened several times in this, and that's okay, because we do get to see the beauty of it later. And this is, it's got the beagle listed here, or the beetle. I don't know what they're called. Are they beagles? Yeah, they are. Okay, caterpillars, ants, you know, just moth, the crawly things. So, yeah, you can see, like right there, this beetle he is rolled over and ready to get his belly rubbed. But with Sadie, he would be ready to be destroyed. I have to fight her off the bugs. Let me tell you, she'd eat every one of them if she thought she could. That dog eats anything and everything. So, anyway, we got all of our little characters here. All the little characters we need for the show, right? And here's the center of the signature. Now, I thought this was the best one for the center because it's got a little bit of everything going on. It says, be happy for this moment. This moment is your life. Bloom. Have a good day. Flutter. And then it just goes on to say, the bees are not as bugging. Bees are not as busy. As busy as we think, I guess is what it says. They are something covered up by a wing, but I'm sure it's on here multiple times. Oh, here it is. Bees are not as busy as we think they are. They just can't buzz any slower. Well, I guess I don't really know. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Oh, what delights to us the garden. Seed, leaf, flower, fruit, herb, bee, and the last one is cut off, you guys. It's probably butterflies. Oh, here it is. No, this is a different one. Now I am in the garden at the back, a very presence of butterflies, where the fruit clusters on the trees, riper and richer than fruit has ever been since in any other garden. I'm not a poet either. So here we start to see the other side of each page. And some of the other sides of each page, which is the back side, are beautiful. Look at that. I would have loved for that to have been the opener, but it was on the back side of the page when you fold it. I just thought that was so pretty. And then look at this. This one's the same thing. So if we made our books the opposite direction, we'd have this beautiful floral. But, you know, the way I look at it is, we start at the front, we end with a bang too. So we have 2 signatures, they're identical, and I thought we would start cutting or start putting papers in. So keep that one up here to make tucks. Okay, so these are the tea stain papers. I don't think we'll have to do anything with them because the paper, excuse me, the paper is going to be, and I'm just going to kind of measure as I go along right here to make sure that paper is going to be smaller. So, oops, we shouldn't have to cut it off. I usually like to do my coffee stain paper last. So won't we, there's a couple pages that I do last, which are these right here. I'm going to wait and we'll go back and put them in because I like to spread the tea stained or coffee stained papers out. Now, I'm going to trim this edging off on this paper. I think this tea stain on this one is so pretty. Now, I've got to think we need, I think this is going to be the right height. So let me make sure. Yeah, it's under 9. If it's under 9, if it's under 9 1/4, it's going to fit. Okay, so we may not have to cut anything off a lot of these papers because this book is a little bit bigger, you know, so that helps. And so as we cut, we're going to fold, and let's see, make sure you want to get all your edges straight. Okay, and we're just going to stack them right there as we go along. A little bend in this one. When I do my tea staining, I don't do it in the oven anymore. Now, I would if I needed to, but I tea stain, and you can see here how it ends up looking. I think it looks good. I like the look. I put tea, and then if the tea's not the color I want, I add some coffee. Instant coffee. I know, don't run. Okay, and then I think this one's going to be the right size also. Yeah. So see, we're going to not have to cut a lot of these, it looks like. Now, I don't want to cut off like these the holes and stuff to the paper because I think it will shorten the paper. And we don't need to shorten anything. It looks like everything is going to fit in this book so far. So I have all kinds of goodies to put in this book. And so what I do is I have some old towels. I lay them all out on my counter. It doesn't bleed through. I double them up. And then I just clean my counter really good. But I'll sometimes go a whole week tea staining. And, you know, every now and then you'll get some that won't tea stain as well as the other because you're mixing as you go. But I thought that one turned out good too. You know, you just don't know. And on this side, it wasn't quite as dark. It kind of gave a shadow, actually. See? So, you just don't know what you're going to get. And that's what makes it fun, right? And I'm going to put this bird paper in here too. Now, the bird paper must have been the first batch that came out because it's a little darker. Let me see how long. This is going to be the right size. No, it's just a little bit shy. I'm going to cut some off the bottom. Let's see if that doesn't fit better. Perfect. Some of it's going to be, you know, a perfect size. And we really won't know until we get it all folded and we measure as we go. Now, this one's fine too. Now, I'm putting one of these in each signature because it has butterflies on it. And I like the way that looks. And what I will end up doing is probably making putting it in. I'm going to set it over here, actually, because I'm going to put it in first. Now, this one was done in the oven, and the reason I can tell is, see the darkness? That is what the pans do to your... I just don't... I like the crunchy that it gives the papers, but I don't like... This one's got a kind of a weird edge on it. I don't like... I don't like how the pans make it rusty. And I've used all different kinds, and I'm just like, if I want that look, I will definitely do it in the oven. Plus, it just wreaks havoc on my back. You know, I've had 2 back surgeries. So, I know, I'm falling apart. What can I say, guys? I thought these little jars, I love these little fruit jars on this red and white check. I thought these would look cute. The colors are bright in this book. But I think about trapping butterflies and, you know, bugs inside. And so I may do some stamping inside this fruit jar. I'm putting it in both signatures also. I might just slip it right over there. I have so many different kinds of papers that what I usually do is what I put in one signature, I don't put in the other. Now, there are things I do put in both signature, like Edith Holden. What is some of the other? I love this journaling paper. I bought this, and I have it with a floral on it too. But I bought this in a, like an Office Max or one of those. Home Depot, not Home Depot. Wrong place, Paula. Office Max or, what is the other one? It does have Depot on it, I think. Office Max. I don't know. It might come to me in a minute. I don't go to them often enough to remember the names. I'm just saying. Look how cool that turned out. I like the way some of these turn out, really. And I like the variants of the different papers. You know, you don't know what you're going to end up with, but it's fun to see. And I even had some papers that turned out looking like a little, like almost like they had bubbles on them. You know, I guess some of them formed little bubbles. I don't know how that works, but see on this one, I don't know. I just thought it looked grungy and fun. But I did tea staining for over a week. I just kept it going. I take an old brush and I brush it on to the paper, okay? And then I take the paper and let it lay there to dry, okay? I like putting small little... The reason I use a lot of planner paper and scheduling type paper is because it has great lines. Now, some of it's vintage, like this is very old. I've had it forever. And so you just don't know. Like this one is a small grid, and it didn't dye as dark. It was down there as long as its brothers and sisters, but this particular one was lighter. So, yeah, and I'll get things like things to do. You know, you can only get so much vintage papers. I do put vintage papers in my books, but this type of paper does not show up in the vintage stores. Look at that one now. See, that was a different batch altogether. but I like the way that looks. I like that every page is a surprise. Now, if I were doing a vintage style, not vintage, but a Victorian style book or shabby chic or something like that, I wouldn't want a lot of oddball papers. But I like to put them in, like this is a paper, it was a giant paper pad, and I liked it because it had different quotes on it. See? And I think that's fun. And I liked this one because I liked the florals. Now, when it's gone, it's gone. You know, some of this stuff you can't find again. And I like this one because it says, girls just want to have fun. I just think it's cute. And I think that's true. Girls just want to have fun. Okay, so I have 2 Edith Holden papers. It's got the butterflies and they're intact. So the whole thing's gonna go in the book. But I need to see, the height is fine. Or the width, I mean, is fine. Well, wait a minute. The width needs to be 6 1/4, I think. Yeah, so this is a little bit bigger. Let me get my paper that's already cut to the exact size. And we'll see on this one, because I'm going to bind it in here. I'm not going to take it apart and flip it to the side. When I don't have to, I don't. But see, look, the height is almost, it's perfect. Look at that. The height is perfect. Okay, so we do now know that Edith Holden is how many inches? Exactly 9. Okay, 9 inches on Edith's papers. Now, the width of her papers are 6 3/4. I think that's what it is. Yeah, I need to cut that down to 6 3/4. I think she's closer to 7. 6 3/4 is what it is, by 9 is what her paper's size. So I'm going to have to cut a little bit on this one side, but I'm going to get it in the right place first. I mean, like literally a sliver. See? That's tiny. And so, yeah, this one will be the same way. I found 2 really good page inserts, and there's the little bees. I thought I'd throw them in. So, I feel like we got really lucky on how good the Edith Holden pages turned out. First one we've had to cut. That's unusual, right? That doesn't happen very often. Okay, so this is an old dictionary book for children. And I got to see how wide it is. And this is very old. There is not a date on this, but there is on the book. And I'm sorry, I didn't get it out. I'm going to have to trim this. It's going to be, oh, wait a minute. No, this is going to be the height. So I'm just going to have to trim a little bit off right here. Okay, now we're going to have to fold this one. So I always take the front of whatever page I want to be the front, and I fold it over. So it'll look better that way. Now the height of this one is going to be shorter than, here's the second one like it. I did put 2 in there. Boy, that one didn't come out of the book very nice, did it? Depending on the kind of book as to whether I do 1 or 2. Okay, now this is a young child dictionary, parts of it. Yeah, so let's see how tall this is. It's not going to need to be cut for sure. So it's front and back. I have all kinds of different age dictionaries. And I liked this one because it had flowers and butterflies and different things on it. So it's got a kind of a rough edge, but I'm going to leave it because it's within the size. We want as much stuff that looks shabby as we can, if it's the right height. Now here is like a middle school. I have middle school, high school, adult, you name it. So I'm going to trim this a little bit. And the ones that don't come out of the book like they should, those will get trimmed too. So I was looking to see if I had anything in here. I don't think I could find the right. If I can find whatever I'm journaling about in the dictionary, I will put that page in here. I don't know if you guys go that far. I am a little bit crazy that way. You know, it's kind of like with our rainbow book we're working on. I found whenever I pulled out all those dictionary books, I found all the colors in the dictionary, and it was from the high school book. Oh, I guess I did 3 of these because look, I think after, oh, it's because it didn't tear right. That's why I did 3. So we'll have to cut this one smaller. It made me so mad. It got so jammed up in the book. I couldn't get it to come out. You know, every once in a while you get some like that. All right. So we really don't have to put both of these in here. I'm going to take one out and then we'll have these 2. Okay, and then of course you get down to your music sheets. I have some big ones, so whenever I have a big book, I try to get a big page. This is from 1991, but when there's anything that's 25 years old is considered vintage. Tell me if I'm wrong. That's how I understand it. I spoke with somebody in one of the old antique shops. That's what he told me. So we'll see. Okay, so this one should be fine. We'll see here real quick. I wish I had a million of these because this is nice. It doesn't have words. You know, it just has a title that you don't know what it even refers to. Okay, this height is fine. Yeah, this one's going to be fine too. Yeehaw. Here's Dixieland. We know what song that is, don't we? That's the thing about this book. You'll go along and you'll recognize several titles, and then all of a sudden it's a title doesn't make sense to you. Now this is also a very old typewriter book. I was looking to see if I had the date on here, but I know it is because I stood and looked at it. Of course it doesn't have the date, but boy, it makes you stop and think about the days we had to take typing class. That is for sure. That, you know, this is like, to me, this is a fun book. Or fun pages because it brings back memories. At least if you're my age. And you don't have to be. And I don't blame you. If you want to be younger, go for it. Or even older. See, look at this one. Isn't that cool? Learning to type figures. Lesson 205. No, section 3. Lesson 205. Yeah, if I remember right, the lessons were like 2 pages or something. Wasn't that much to them. And now we're going to go to the adult. No, this is high school. I think this is the high school one. Isn't that crazy? It's hard to tell when they get older. Yeah, I think it is the high school one. I'll probably reinforce this because, see, there's a couple little tears right there. But because it's the perfect size, I'm going to, I'm going to have to trim it a little bit. I just noticed. Yeah. Bring it out to 6 3/4. And then I'm going to pick it up and see if it's going to be the right size. See, I think this is the deal. Some papers will be longer or wider because we have more space. And so this is about the size of the, just almost the size of the book. Now, as we put them in, if this is way too big, like I've got others that's going to be this size too. So we're going to have a variety pack. That's what makes it fun. Okay, so get this at 6 3/4. Okay. All right, so that's the second one. Oh, okay, now we're down to the coffee stained. Let me get that going here. Now, I can tell you that the coffee stain is going to be smaller than some of the pages. But some of them are going to have fold-outs on them. Some of them are, you know, I'm going to do it different for each one. So, these will have a zigzag stitch. I'll have to look. I don't think I have a butterfly stitch. I tell you, you can have sewing machines with all these fancy stitches, but half the time, they're not as beautiful. By the time you get finished, your machine's like coughing and grunting and spitting and all of that. So, I'm going to put 4, I think it's 4 to each. Let me see. I have to count them. I don't even remember what I put out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess it's 3 to each signature. And because I have so many other papers, you know, that you can journal on that have lines and so forth, that's the reason I do that. And then I take and cut in half. Let's see how big this is. It should be 11. Okay. So we're going to do 5 1/2. We're going to cut it in half so we can make a tuck. But it would make it run into the spine. So I always take enough off to hinge the 2 pages together. So I usually do about 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, I'll do 3/4. That should be enough. And then I keep that with it. And then I do it again like this. This is when I'm going to be doing hinges to make a fold out. You know, when you want to fold them out. And there's the other one. Okay. Now, these are the old printer. This is the old printer paper. And I love this stuff too. It's basically the same as coffee stain. And when you buy it on Amazon, you get a giant box. Okay. Now, I did find some the other day that was vintage. I haven't had a chance to get it out and do anything with it. But, yeah, you can find it sometimes. Okay, so we don't want it to be more than 9. So we're going to have to cut one of our little polka dots off. Okay, and then it should be the right width. Yeah. Okay, let's do that one more time. So when you do a book, I'm just trying to teach you as I go along here. When you do a book that is vintage or shabby chic or something like that, and you want it, I think Mrs. Cog Mrs. Cog more so than Wendy, they use a lot of just the coffee stain paper, and her papers are about that pretty right there. Mrs. Cog's are. I mean, she just, so is Wendy's. I mean, I learned from Wendy how to do it on the counter. That's what Wendy does it the same thing. And the first time I did it, I covered everything, flipped it over, did the other side. And it doesn't take that long. I put it in a room that has a ceiling fan, and it just, so I just do it all day long. I'll just go in there and paint one side with tea, flip it over when it's dry, paint the other side with tea, then pick them up. And I put them under heavy books now. I used to iron them. And then I saw Wendy do it, and she said, don't iron them, put them under heavy books. And I was like, why didn't I think of that? Because I haven't been doing this as long as some. So, yeah. I was thrilled, though, that she gave that little tidbit of information. So, this is going to go in. I'm going to stick this in around the blue, I think. Maybe right here behind the bumblebees. I'll put this right here behind the bumblebees. And this is my process. I always get any kind of cardstock or a scrapbook paper I want to put in here. And then I go through and I look at the reasons. I don't really want that bee paper to stand out as much as any other paper. So I'll put that right there. And I have both signatures ready, and I fill them. And I like them to be as close to the same as possible. I keep them in order. And the reason I do, I think this is cute. Now, this really should have went by the bees, right? I don't think we would try to trap bees. We might not enjoy that later on. I like this red being right here, but I know I don't want to put it by that red. So, let's see what the other red. Let's do it over here. Let's do it on this one. It'll be all right. They're all going to be mixed up. And it's not going to end up being perfect anyway. That's the point of a junk journal, right? And we'll try to put we'll stamp some stuff in this book too. Okay, so now we've got these just bright and cherry ones. I'm going to put this in signature 2. If I can find which one is signature 2. Believe it or not, I know there's a difference. Because I folded one not perfect, and I was not happy about it. But I think I caught it before I creased it. And if I did, it won't make a difference. I don't see any folds in either one of them. So that works out. So we'll let this be signature 2. And then we have, I like this brightness. I'm going to put it over here. Let's just stick this one in. I don't want to stick it in around blue. Isn't that crazy? I look at, you think none of this would matter. So I'm going to stick it right up here. Right in the front. But once you start filling all these in, you don't even notice it. Here, I'm going to put these up here. I think it'll be easier than trying to do them one at a time. Okay, so I'm going to do the floral one. This is pink and blue. So I'm trying to decide. I think I'm going to do the floral one in between the two blues, because we don't have a paper there. I know I give it way too much thought You guys wouldn't believe the time that I spend on my books. Everything I do has a reason. And just so you know, if you end up with one, everything I do has, you know, there's a reason. Okay, and then we've got purple here, and we've got blue. So either one will work. Let's see, where do we want to put this one? It's not going to matter at certain points. I think I'm going to put this behind. I'm crazy, I know. I got to think about it. Behind the stationery paper. Between the one that we just put in is where this one's going. Just because. No reason. Okay, so I have one of these I like. Edith Holden that I like. This is the one I like the best. I'm going to put it in signature 1. Just because. Okay, now where do I want this? I think I want it close to the front because I want it to make an impression, you know? So it's going to go close to the front and the other half will be close to the end, okay? It's going to be the first page inside your scrapbook paper. There's another butterfly. Okay, now we're getting down to, what do you know? This is a dictionary book, so let's move this over. Let's put it behind the fruit jar. Okay. I know I put a lot of time and effort into this, but I want it to look balanced. Does that make sense? I want it to look balanced. Okay, so I really like the floral. I think it's on this. No, it's on the... No, maybe I passed it. Let's just keep going back and see. Oh, this one is probably the one I'm thinking of. Let's put it right here. We're going to put it right here, right behind Edith Holden. There's one sheet in between. Okay. Okay, and then I always close it so I can get my act together. Here is a butterfly one. Let's put it over in the second book, in front of the stationery, this bright stationery. Okay. If I can find it, right there. Gosh, I think about the first time I ever did one of these books. Do you guys remember when you did your first book? Okay. Didn't know that. I wasn't sure if I had that in right or not, but... So I'm going to put Dixieland in the first one. But let me look. I'm going to kind of look and see where we're lacking. I think I want the Dixieland right in front of the center page. Yeah. So your music sheet will be in front of your center signature page. Now, you don't have to put your stuff in here in this order. I just kind of have a way I like to do it. I can't even explain it. I mean, you know, there's no real rhyme or reason. So now we're going to go to the typewriter. Lesson 1. Where do we want you? Let's see how many we've got in between each one. 1, 2, 3, 4 there. So it'd probably be some... See, we don't have hardly anything right here. This is what we need to concentrate on, this one. So let's put it behind the butterfly. Okay. behind the butterfly stationery. Right there. I like to try to put even numbers. And this dictionary is a full sheet. And I didn't find butterflies on it. It came out of the A's. So it really doesn't matter. But we are going to put it in front of the music sheet. Okay, in front of the music sheet. Front of the music sheet. I can't believe I did not have to trim down that music sheet, because usually it's so big when I use it that by the time I get down to needing it, it doesn't even look like it should. Now I'm going to do the coffee or tea stained papers. Now I'm going to start behind Edith Holden. I try to put one behind each paper, cardstock paper, or in each section. Okay, so here's the second section. But we're really only going to have 3, and then we'll have the one with the other things. Okay, let's put it behind the fruit jar. Then we're going to go to the next section, and I think we're going to put it behind the typewriter. Okay, now that's 3 already, and one of those will be a flip out. So, got 3 here. I'm going to keep the flip out, these parts separate so I don't lose something. Now we've got these, which will go behind paper 4. Which I'm going to put it in front of the planner page here. So you end up with some tea stain paper in each section. Okay, which is nice because, you know, behind Edith Holden. I should have done these at the same time. Okay, and then behind the fruit jar. Then behind the typewriter, I think. I forgot. So we're right here. Yeah, it's right in front of the floral. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, and then this one is right before, let me go to the center section. That's where we should be. It's behind the piano, I believe. Or the music. No, in front of the music sheet. Okay. I kind of remembered. Now, I am seeing right now that we have a piece here that's a little tall, see? So, I didn't get the measurements right on that. But when we're through putting the paper in, I'll go back and fix those that are not just like I want them. And I may end up trimming these super long ones some more because there's not enough of them that's super long. But not a lot because I don't want to cut off anything of importance. Okay, so I put these little dinky ones in last. I call them dinky ones, but they're not really. These little ones that are just for fun. So I have some more big ones, but it's going to be different on each side. So we're going to put this one. Now I don't want to put anything else in section 4 because that one has 5 things, I think. So we're going to go right in here. We're going to put it behind the tea stain paper. And all of these are going to be different. It's going to be this paper. I'm just putting different journal papers behind those. Okay, now let me shut this so I don't get confused. Okay, now we're going to do, we've got a blue and a bird. Okay, so we're going to put the blue, let's see, where do we want the blue? Let's see how many we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So we'll put it here, right in front of this blue cardstock. I try to even it out the best I can. Let's see if I can find that one. There it is. So we'll put the birds right there in front. Okay, now we have another 2 journal pages. So that one had 1, 2, 3, 4 in the front one. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the second. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that one. I bet this one. Oh, so that's the front ones. Okay. So we can start over. So let's put this one behind the typewriter sheet in the second section. Behind the typewriter sheet. Got to find it. Okay. All right, and now we've got a ledger and we've got this one. Okay, that's going to be too much, so we might save that if we need it. Okay, so in section 1 up here, let's put it behind or in front of this little children's dictionary. Yeah. And I think we're not doing too bad now. So, I'm not going to put a doily in this because I just don't think it's got the doily thing going on. You know, you just kind of have to look and decide. I want to trim those big ones before I put these smaller ones in because it's bugging me. And I don't want it to get off, you know. Okay, so the ones that need to be trimmed, first of all, let's do the height. So it's going to be this dictionary page right here. And I'm just going to take it off the bottom. Okay. And you just take off what you feel like is too big. And I also want to take a little bit off of the sides of this one. No, I didn't. This isn't the one I wanted to do that with. I don't think. Yeah, it is. So let's take a little bit off of it. Okay, so we're going to take, it's 6 3/4 now, so let's take it down to 6 1/2. We'll take a 1/4 off of it. That will have to help a little bit. Okay, and that goes right here. So that one should fit perfect now. Now let's see what else we need to trim down. Edith Holden. See how I just don't like that. So I'm going to take another 1/4 off the dictionary paper. So it's going to be a total of a 1/2 inch. I can't take any more because that's the most I have left. So, and that's okay. I mean, I just don't like it being floppy, you know, and it's still got everything intact. So I think it's perfect. Now we're going to take off the Edith Holden. Let's try doing about the same. So 6.5. I'm going to take it down to 6 1/4. I don't want them all to be perfect, but I don't want them to be where they'll get bent. I mean, like I said, I have a reason in my head. So I'm trying to share those reasons with you. You don't want to know everything in my head, though. It could be scary in there. Okay, so this still sticks out a little bit. If it becomes a problem, I'll just shorten it again. It just cut off a little bit of it there. Okay, so, because see, Edith Holden is out. A lot of these, what happens is as you add your papers, they start pushing out. Now, on the last book I made, The Blossom, I trimmed all that off because I had a shorter or more narrow book. So this will probably bug me. I'm looking at it now thinking, oh, that's just too much. So let's just cut it. You know, we are going to lose a little bit of our text, but we've got to be able to have it in the book where it doesn't get all bent up. And it will bug the new owner as well. I just know because if I received it, it would drive me crazy. And you can't really trim those off whenever you, after the fact, you know. Now look at the difference. Now we do have some sticking out, but we have various ones sticking out. So it's okay because you don't have just a couple sticking out here. That's how I ended up deciding that. Okay, so we'll set that one aside. And we will go to whichever one's too tall, which is that same dictionary paper. Okay, set it over here. Pull this out. Okay, now, let's see. I'm going to have to cut a little bit more. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Now this one should be right now. I hate doing that, but if you think about it, you're getting this whole sleeve here. And in the long run, it's a better thing to do. I try my hardest not to trim off any more than I have to. Because I just, you know, I want to see how big I did the Edith Holden. Let me try it here and see. I want them to be the same size in this situation. So I did it right there. As long as we're not chopping off a butterfly, we'll be all right. Okay. Okay, now, let's put this one in here. I don't know about you guys, but I love Edith Holden pages. I just ordered 3 books. The only thing I hate is I don't know till it comes if the paper's glossy or not. I tried to look. They give you like one sample page. It's hard to tell. It's very hard to tell. Okay, so let me make sure everything is like we need it. Looks great. Now, we're going to go back over here. Let me see how much time. We're real close to the end, okay? We've got like a minute, but oh well. We're not going to worry about it too much. Okay, so we're going to go in the first signature, and we're going to add some fun stuff. I didn't fold that one right, of course. So I'm going to add one right here. And then I'm going to add, in the next section, in front of the tea stain, I'm going to add second one. Come on. Okay, now I did the first 2, so let's do the first 2 here. I'm going to do behind the tea stain. I love these little notepads, and this is vintage also. they're almost all gone. So, okay, in the second section, it's going to be behind the fruit jar. Okay. All right, then we're going to move on to the next section, which is going to be in the B section. And so we're going to do in front of the typewriter. In front of the typewriter. Front of the typewriter. Okay, and then we're going to go over to the next section. Okay. And we're going to go, we've got one more to put in. Let's see, where do we want to put it? Let's put it in front of this journal page right here. Okay. Now, when you stitch these, when you do your binding, which is stitching, you want to make sure that all these little pieces are in the center so they get grabbed by the string. Otherwise, you can have a problem. And what I'm talking about, I'll show you. Let me straighten this up. Because when you do this and you bounce everything, everything goes down. And I don't worry about that. I like everything to not get bent up, so I always make sure everything is in there correctly. But when it comes time to stitch your book in, I go through each page and I make sure that it can be grabbed by the center string, you know. And I do that with each small piece that doesn't go from the top to the bottom, okay? And so, here we go, guys. So, the next thing I will be doing, and I won't be doing this on video because it just takes too long, but I will show it to you in the next video. I'm going to go ahead and put the binding together and put the paper on top. But in between doing all that, I'm going to do some things for the book. And so I've decided, I've already done some, and I want to show you real fast. Of course, you saw that I cut out the fabric. I got the spine ready. It's going to be 1.5 inch spine. I know it looks big when you look at it, but that's what it's going to be. Now, I did this last night. When I was doing the fabric that I was cutting out, I went ahead and did my flip, because I always like to put a flip. Didn't that turn out cute? Let me go in. I thought it turned out cute. So I did this stripe up and down here so you can see what it looks like up and down. And then I did it side to side and put the pink in it. I had a reason, and then I took the sari silk, which is the right color for this book, and I stitched it across the top, and I just stuck it under in wonky ways. And then I stitched my 2 buttons on with their navy, so I stitched them with the burgundy. So that's the flip. I also made out of the fabric a little book. See, I just cut him out and I put some blue paper inside and stitched it down the middle. It's got 6 pages, I believe. Yeah, 3 in the front part and 3 in the back. And I just thought that was cute. I had just that amount of fabric left, and I thought, what can I do for that? Okay, and then we did this. I was going to show you these, and I haven't had a chance to do that. This is the one we made in video, and I told you I would come back with it and show you once it is finished. So this will be put in this book because it's got the blue and the yellow, and I really like how it turned out. And this is the journaling card. I have not inked this, I just noticed, so I need to do that before I do anything else, because I'll forget if I don't. So, yeah, and I made this little clip, and then I put in a half a piece of index card, and I just stapled some. As you can see, I just overlapped it, stapled it, made a little tab so that when you open this, if you have a piece of paper that goes too low, you want to make sure you can see it. But you don't want to make it too high that you can't close your little thing up. So, all right, that's how that turned out. And I also have these really cute butterfly clips. And I think that one ended up somewhere. I don't know where. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you're as excited as I am about making this book. I don't want to bore us to death by doing just that. But after I get the book after I get the book together, I will show it to you. I might not have the pages, the signature sewn in, but I will show you once the book is put together on the inside and outside. And then I'll move on to another step. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Give me a thumbs up, would you? And if you haven't subscribed, please do. We're over 1,400, guys. Yeehaw. So by the time we get our rainbow book, maybe we'll get a little closer to that 2,000. It may take me that long to get the book made because I'm going to kind of do it like a quilt square with different colors that are in the book. So, see you then. Next video. Bye, guys.